Hi, this is Mark Bowser, and welcome to another episode of Mark Bowser Reads, where I read from different books that I've written or been part of, then different selections within those books. The book we're going to be looking at today, and this is the first part for this particular book, is Sell Success. This is a book that I had the honor of writing with Zig Ziglar and Tom Hopkins and Scott McKain, as well as a few other folks. And this is a book that's a business fable. I wrote the story that weaves the entire book together, as well as some of the content chapters. Then we went out and got some of the best sales coaches of all time. And I teamed up with them, and they were willing to share some content with me where I fit their content into the story. And so we're going to be starting out here with the introduction. And the introduction was actually contributed by Chris Widener, where he's just basically endorsing the book. And here's what he says. Welcome to Sell Success. You're about to embark on a journey that could change your selling life. How so? Only you will know for sure. But you may double or triple your sales in the next 12 months based on what you are going to learn in this book. Many times it is the small changes that make all the difference in a selling career. It is knowing that last number of the combination lock that opens the vault leading to sales success. This is no ordinary sales book. Many business books on the market today are written much like a textbook. You know, like the ones we didn't want to read when we were in school. Well, sales success is different. Mark Bowser has written an inspiring story that weaves the selling lessons together into a complete selling system that will propel you to the top of your selling goals. Mark has then assembled a team of the best sales trainers and authors in the world today. To be the best, you need to learn from the best. Through these top experts such as Scott McKain, Tom Hopkins, the late Zig Ziglar, and many others, you will watch as our fictional mentor Digger Jones guides his young prodigy to the ultimate success in selling. Pretty soon you realize that you are gaining as much as Digger's prodigy. This is a great book, one that you are going to return to time and again in the years to come. Enjoy the journey to your sales success. Chris Widener. Let me just make a couple notes here. One is this is going to be very, very informal. This is my home office that we're in at this moment. And if I mess up as I read the text a little bit, I'm not going to start over. I'm just going to continue on as if we were reading the story in a classroom type setting. Also, let me say something about Mr. Ziglar. I was very honored and blessed to be able to participate with Zig Ziglar in this particular project. It is one of the last big projects that he was actually a part of before he passed away. Unfortunately, Mr. Ziglar, as you can tell from the introduction that Chris has in here, is Zig had already passed away when that was written. So Mr. Ziglar did pass away before this book hit bookstores, but we are very honored to have had his participation in this and his son Tom's, who leads the organization now. In this particular book for Sell Success. So welcome to Sell Success, and I think you're going to find it to be a very exciting journey for you. We're going to do the book in different parts, so each part is not going to be very, very long. This is from the preface. If you're reading along in your copy of Sell Success, we're on page 9. How can you be so incompetent? One sale? How can you only make one sale in a month? That is ridiculous. It was a measly sale at that, bellowed an extremely angry and frustrated sales manager. Jack, if I don't see improvement soon, you are out of here. Not again, thought a very depressed, dejected Jack Blake. This was his third sales job in a year, and he was failing again. What is wrong with me? As Jack left his manager's office, he felt lost. He had no clue on how to improve. He had no clue on where to even start. It wouldn't make any difference anyway, thought Jack. 11 months ago, Jack had entered the world of selling full of excitement. Now he just felt like giving up. He thought back to the previous 11 months, to that excitement he felt as he accepted that first job selling insurance. When he graduated from college a year and a half ago, he had felt like the world was his. He thought he was ready. He graduated in the top 10% of his class with a double BA in marketing and business administration, so why wasn't he able to succeed at sales? After taking a few weeks to travel and relax, Jack had taken a job as a sales representative for FSI Insurance Company. FSI is the third largest insurance company in the nation and very selective on whom they let represent them as a sales representative. Jack has always been interested in sales, and he knew he was going to rip this industry up with success. Jack first became interested in sales when he sold grapefruits to earn money for a Florida baseball trip for his Little League team. He had sold more grapefruits than anyone else and paid for his entire trip without having to get any money from his parents. Jack's first month at FSI went extremely well. That month, he had the third most sales on the team, beating the numbers of many veterans. He sold his parents a policy, his uncle and aunt in Michigan, his cousin Suzanne in Georgia, and a number of his friends. However, from there it began to go downhill. His second month was mediocre. In fact, that is where he ended up in the team rankings, smack dab in the middle. His third month was awful. He ended the month better than only one other salesperson, and he knew that guy was going to be fired. Jack was only mildly surprised when he was fired too. It didn't take Jack long to get another job, though. He landed what appeared to be a lucrative position with the largest auto dealer in the area. He was now one of the select sales representatives for Frank's Auto World, which represented Toyota, Honda, Ford, and Volvo cars. Talk about a variety. This should be easy. He is just glad they didn't ask about his previous job in the interview. Frank's Auto World was so impressed with his college career that they hired Jack on the spot. Now, all Jack had to do was prove that he could sell, which he didn't. He sold only 3 cars in his first 6 weeks. In fact, that isn't quite true. He only sold 2. The third sale came when a couple came in and bought a car in 10 minutes. They were sold before they had walked on the lot. They knew the make, model, color, and features they wanted. In fact, they knew more about that particular car than Jack did. That was the highlight of Jack's life as a car sales professional. In his second 6 weeks with Frank's Auto World, Jack only sold 1 car. They let him go shortly after that. Now it looked like the same thing was going to happen again. Jack's current job was selling professional training, DVD, and audio programs for Success Is Yours Incorporated to businesses and individuals. Jack loved the product. Every time he watched or listened to one of the programs, he got motivated and began to believe he could succeed too. Jack's thoughts finally brought him back to the reality at hand. It is just so hard, he thought. Well, it is about 4:30 p.m. I may as well go home, get a good night's sleep, and give it another try in the morning. As Jack walked into the entry door of his dingy apartment building, he opened his mailbox. Junk mail, what is this? It was a light green envelope that just had his name on it. Someone had obviously just dropped it into the mailbox. As Jack opened the plain envelope, his stomach sank. It was from his landlady, Mrs. Norris. Mrs. Norris was a sweet lady around 65 years of age. She had lost her husband about 3 years ago and had been running the apartment building ever since. She had salt and pepper hair, a plump figure, and always wore a warm, caring demeanor on her face. More than once, Jack had enjoyed sitting with her on a warm, sunny afternoon on a bench under the old sweet gum tree adjacent to the apartment complex parking lot. Mrs. Norris seemed to understand Jack's feelings about how hard of a struggle he was having with his job. She had always been so supportive. It was always comforting to talk with her. As he opened the small envelope, he saw a short handwritten note inside it. Jack unfolded the note and began to read. Dear Jack, I hate to write a note like this, but I really have no choice. I know how hard your job is for you right now, and I understand you are under a lot of stress. However, I'm trying to separate my personal feelings for you and run my apartment complex like a business. Please know that you're like a son to me, and I love you very, very much. If you could at least show intent to pay your rent. You haven't paid anything for the last 2 months. Can you at least pay half of your rent this month? If not, I will have no choice but to ask you to move out. I'm so sorry about this, Jack. God bless, Mrs. Norris. Great, Jack said out loud in a muffled tone. He understood, of course. He also was embarrassed. Where was he going to get $350 in the next 2 weeks? His entire rent was $700 a month, and he knew that would be almost impossible for him to get a hold of in just 2 weeks. If only he could make a couple of big sales in the next 2 weeks. As Jack made his way upstairs to his one-bedroom apartment, he felt as though he was totally alone. He felt no one completely understood, or at least cared. Jack knew these thoughts weren't true, but that is how he felt. Well, that's where we're going to stop for today. Have you ever felt like Jack? Have you ever had sales not going your way? Well, pretty soon, Jack's life is going to turn around a bit when he meets a mysterious mentor by the name of Digger Jones. Stay tuned for our next episode. This is Mark Bowser. Thanks for listening.